Hey everyone, welcome back for another panel, Innovating for Impact. So excited to have this panel here. They're doing amazing things, building communities, bridging gaps, and scaling success. Anthony Regalado is a Colombian born, now living in Columbus, Ohio. He's the executive director of the Hispanic Chamber of Columbus and a tech startup founder. At the Chamber, he leads initiatives to connect the Columbus business ecosystem to the local Hispanic workforce. Doing amazing stuff here. Max, Max, how do I say your last name?
Ringelheim.
Max Ringelheim is a passionate tech entrepreneur from New York. Uh, him and I met in Miami during the pandemic. Max was famously responsible for co-founding the 2015's viral hoverboard fad through his popular brand Funky Dunk. Yes, the devices that were literally blowing up uh, all over the place in 2015. So Max learned a lot from that experience, and he has a company when going viral. Max now works with numerous nonprofits in the ed tech space. So excited to uh, learn about the learning lessons and also what he's doing right now. Mariah Howard is a visionary leader and renowned as the mover of marketing with over a decade of experience transforming industries through innovative marketing strategies, technology solutions, and venture capital initiatives. Super excited to welcome you all here today. How are you all feeling?
Feeling
Great.
great.
Absolutely great.
Great. Well, we'll start with you, Mariah, since you're the only woman on the panel here. Um, Maybe can you catch us up with just letting the audience know how can small businesses leverage public and private funding to scale their operations, and also uh, how can they reach out to you, and what's a way that you're helping them in that process?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a really good question. Way to kick off the panel with fire. I appreciate you so much as always, Manny. Well, first, I guess I should start with a little bit more about me. My day job is actually being a public procurement officer. So I actually work closely with different government agencies to actually help support the compliance and administrative paperwork documentation so that small businesses are eligible for said funding, right? So that's why this was the first question. Then, with applying those skills, what you can do as a small business owner, as anyone on the panel, myself included, is actually just taking the time to leverage the resources that are available. So, for instance, within the private sector, and we're talking about venture capital and investments, there's actually a federal program called the SBIC program, which is a fund that specifically invests their investment dollars, our federal government, into small business owners, innovations, and commercialization. So there's more than that available for our small business owners, but the point is that small business owners, entrepreneurs, startups, we have to be compliant in order to be eligible for the funding. And in order to do that, you would have to take a certain level of precaution, risk management, mediation, whatever you have it, in order to bring yourself up to compliance to contract, bid, or win these awards, which we call grants.
Mhm.
So that's a little
Mhm.
bit about me. I just want to keep it simple and make sure that you all do understand that the opportunities are available. We, as the federal government, as the city governments, even in states, all of our outsourcing, labor, products, whatever you have it, any spending from the federal government is actually outsourced typically. We don't manufacture much of anything within the United States or um, really within our labor workforce. So if you can, the best option for you during this time period is to bring yourself up to compliance, to start contracting with the government because the opportunity and the window is really, really wide open.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off of um, this rhetoric, Max, with the fast forward to the work that you're doing with in the education space, because you're doing a lot of incredible work inside schools and upskilling the workforce. So I guess how is storytelling and your experience with when going viral, how has storytelling helped you connect with communities and drive impactful innovation there?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think storytelling has always been one of those like mission critical pillars as it relates to the marketing mix in my world. I've always felt like having really quality storytelling is, some might argue in the marketing world, like, pretty much paramount to any, good marketing story that or marketing brand or business you're going to be building. So as it relates to like things like innovation, and as it relates to trying to basically tell amazing stories that impact the community, one of the things that I've found has been super, super valuable is providing to these communities different accessible and equitable programs. So to take a quick step back, kind of like what Mariah was saying on my front, right? I've been a passionate tech entrepreneur for the last 13, 14 years and might have had an incredible, viral phenomenon in the hoverboard, which was my kind of entrepreneurial claim to fame, which I had learned some incredible positive and negative lessons from. But you fast forward to now 2024, soon to be 2025, and I'm doing amazing, impactful work in the education technology space, and specifically here in Miami and elsewhere. And what I can tell you is that some of the same amazing stories that we might have been telling back during the hoverboard days, which were awesome and involved a lot of amazing celebrities and promotion related to, the sort of influencer marketing world, being able to kind of take a step forward here on the, social responsibility element and highlight amazing stories about how kids, who are growing up in lesser fortunate communities in Miami are doing incredible things in the innovation world regarding engineering, robotics, AI, electric vehicles, you name it, and pinpointing those students and highlighting a microscope on them so that ideally, other amazing organizations, companies can come in with different grant funding style opportunities so that many, many more students from, let's say, Miami-Dade County Public Schools can get access to these accessible and equitable programs, are one of the ways in which I'm trying to, really shine a light on those types of students and really showcase how ridiculously crazy smart they are so that, future colleges want to recruit from them or future companies want to hire these types of students. So, I think it's taken different pages from the hoverboard playbook of where I saw, profound stories be told about Bieber riding hoverboards or Jamie Foxx riding hoverboards, and now leveraging some of the different elements in which those, stories grew and had amazing impact. Now focusing on the ground roots level of, students here in the local community that can equally shine a light on some positive things that they're doing inside of school that are arguably going to change the world here over the time to come.
No, love that, love that. And I'm gonna piggy that off to you, Anthony. I think Columbus is really lucky to have you leading the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Um, I guess for those who aren't familiar, maybe what unique challenges do Hispanic-owned businesses face, and how are you all addressing them with your initiatives?
Yeah, no, I think first of all, thanks for having me here, and great to meet all of you. Manny, was great to meet you this year and really start to understand a little bit more about the Ohioan ecosystem. I would like to say I am Colombian forged, but I am actually born in Los Angeles. So I was born in Los Angeles, and I did grow up for a long period of time in Colombia, definitely. But I think that in Columbus, and in Ohio, in the Midwest region in general, and even in the United States, Latino entrepreneurship is growing quickly and more rapidly than we've ever had before in the history of the United States. Right now, Latinos are the leading demographic of entrepreneurs in the United States, and I think we see a lot of governmental collaboration that's happening just kind of in response to that. Right now, locally, we're working personally with the Ohio Department of Development, also locally with the Columbus City Council and other organizations here to be able to give them access to resources. A lot of the impact that we provide as a chamber to Hispanic businesses locally is going to be through being able to distribute to them the information that of government resources that are available, whether that's financial resources or educational resources like the Thrive program from the SBA is a great program that just launched here in Spanish. The biggest problem that we have to solve as a chamber here is literally just distributing that information to our entrepreneurs
Mhm.
locally. I don't think the
So I
government
want to,
has a really great job at marketing. So really, we're just trying to help them with that distribution. So
yeah, yeah. Mariah, you have something you want to say?
No, you couldn't be more right, Anthony. We absolutely are taking a full-fledged pivot and overhaul in our digital transformations across the board, across agencies, across the globe, even our international departments, to ensure that what you're talking about is equitable access. And we've also understood that that needs to be made a point and pertinent, which is also why I was going to say I probably should not have glossed over the SBIC program in the beginning.
Yeah. No, touch
Um,
on it. Yeah.
just you guys, I'm going to share a link so you can actually start to research it for yourself. But I did want you all to know, especially speaking to startup founders that are seeking investment, these funds, the range is large and it varies. So we're talking about anywhere between the government supporting your bridge capital, where right you're just needing anywhere between 25,000, 50,000, where you also may need full support when you're past your seed, you're round A, you're round B, round C, and you're needing up to $10 million. And this is where the government is able to support you. And now you get to leverage yourself as a small business owner, right? As an entrepreneur, as a federal contractor, to say that you're backed by the government in terms of your funding. And you're able to match your lenders with that point of leverage. I highly recommend it.
Love that. Love that. And just for Anthony, Mariah also lives in Columbus, so it'd be really helpful for you both to
awesome.
connect. For all the Ohio founders, we built it's a free, I have no plans on monetizing this group. ohiofounders.com is just really a way for us to really communicate and connect more. I think that's the biggest weakness. I think information is the just super important, right? So just us being able to just collaborate and elevate, I think is the key thing. Um, so Max, bringing it back to you here, what lessons from your experience with the viral business phenomena um, can entrepreneurs apply to building lasting brands?
Yeah, totally. I mean, so, whenever you're trying to build some sort of fantastic brand in the innovation space, or, maybe it's a new shoe brand, whatever it might be, any type of business, one of the key fundamental takeaways from my hoverboard experience, which was a classic rise to the top, have the best thing since sliced bread, and then crash and burn, to the bottom 18 months later. Obviously, you learn dozens and dozens of different key lessons learned, but one of the most important ones that I take away, and it's part of the inspiration behind my brand when going viral, is the hope is that when going viral doesn't suck, right? You want it to thrive, and for me, it
Mm,
was when going viral actually sucked, which essentially the underlying key takeaway for entrepreneurs that might be listening is the proper planning and the proper due diligence ahead of just going viral needs to take place when you're developing your business and building it and experiencing your initial traction. Because if the proper steps are not taken to allow virality to thrive for your business, you can ultimately jeopardize your entire business. And that is hence when going viral sucks, which is exactly what happened in my world. So it's almost like a core takeaway and a core mission behind this media company of mine when going viral, which is to have entrepreneurs learn from my stories so that they can adequately prepare for that mission critical moment where things start to really
mhm.
take off, which I unfortunately wasn't ready for. But as it relates to a variety of the businesses that I'm building now, I'm leveraging a lot of those punches to the gut that I took from that experience and paying it forward not only to folks that might be listening today on this event, but also in my own day-to-day work, growing different businesses.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps answer and give some good nuggets to your audience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a constant learning process. And I'm sure that, whether you had investors, whether you had business partners, them seeing how you rebound from that. And I think, helping kids upskill, I'm sure you're probably getting a little bit more maybe out of that. So, taking it to more of the founder route, I think it's entrepreneurship is a word that I think everyone should look at. DDJ, a famous rapper, he said recently, everyone who has a 9 to 5 should use that to fund their side hustle. Right? I didn't say it, but he said
It's called sponsorship.
Yeah. Right. Um, so I segue to that too. Would love to learn more about the Anarco, Anthony, and what you're working on and what you're building. Maybe if you could tell us a little bit about Anarco and how you're using technology and AI to really bridge gaps and empower small businesses. Are you only focusing on Latino businesses? And let folks know how they could, get involved.
So Anarcho's focused on empowering small businesses to get access to consultancy in a method that is more scalable, in a method that's more accessible to them and in their within their realm of understanding. So we're leveraging AI and we're building a AI project interface that small businesses can own and use on a daily basis to manage teams that are affordable for them all around the world. Essentially, small businesses and small business owners, they have big visions, big dreams, and they have the capacity to really, put the nails to the chalkboard when they try to build their businesses. But when it comes to building a digital or a tech-enabled action to their product or to their service, they generally don't know or understand the elements of de-risking. So right now, what we're doing, and we validated this for the past 4 months on an analog sort of consultancy route, helped a couple of businesses grow their digital interface or their digital e-commerce. Another business was building their AI product in the medical space with us for the past 4 months. And now we're going to be going all in on building out that AI project interface specifically for those small business owners. So, I mean, I think as we all know, small business owners are, again, they're visionaries. But the idea of being able to educate them throughout a process that's more intuitive, that's more technological, and essentially having an AI consultant in their pocket is what Anarco is focused on.
Love it. Love it. Super excited for that. Super excited for 2025. Get involved there. Um, Mariah, I'll bring it back to you. I would love to learn, and you shared a lot of interesting resources, and I wanted to hear about the work that inspired the work you were doing that inspired with the Liberia Library and the Cultural Center, and
Mhm.
also what impact do you hope to achieve with that, and maybe I know we only have 9 minutes, so it would be helpful to if you want to share how folks can get in touch with you as well.
Absolutely. You told me that twice. I will make sure you all know how to get in touch with me. Um, so the project that I'm working on in Liberia is actually a gift and an honor and a privilege that's been bestowed to me from my grandmother, who has recently been appointed the prime minister of cultural and tourism, global tourism. So with that being said, we have been tasked with a worlds of assignments, and one of them being creating, designing, and developing the Liberia Pan-African Library and Cultural Center, which is an initiative to preserve global heritage and our traditional cultural traditions through digitization and a partnership with a few others. I almost said it. Will be coming out soon, but essentially, this a initiative where we're going to work with our inner city communities, our rural areas, the Liberians themselves, to develop their own headquarters of an information and database. This will be used by the local universities. We're partnering with the United Nations. It's just a great grand initiative, again, to close this gap, which is what I like to call an access gap. And what we're talking about now is access to information and data. And what we'll talk about later in 20 or 25 years from now will be access to the exact information that will allow us to use the technology that's accessible to us. So just as Anthony is developing an incredible AI agent that every small business owner should use and is going to need, there's going to be a level of information and training, resource, database, if you will, code, to then need to learn how to use exactly what Anthony has designed to be able to use it for whatever use cases and everything, so on and so forth. So that is essentially the initiative. We're preserving heritage. We are doing a great, deep, vast amount of research and trying to source what we might say could have been undocumented history, which is not. It absolutely is not. And the passion that lies behind it for me is actually simply a vision of being able to be a part of what we call, I'm also a blockchain enthusiast and a crypto investor. So I want to actually be a part of something that is immutable, that withstands time throughout all ages. And that is exactly that. Liberia Pan-African Cultural Center.
Love that. We almost need to start a crypto group just to, I think that'll be it. Um, Cool. So I know we have 5 minutes left. If anyone has any comments, feel drop it in. Just looking forward into 2025. Would love to hear what each of you all are excited for, what you're looking forward to, and maybe there are any tips you'd like to leave with the audience. Max, I'll start with you. I'll start first. I'm excited to really. I think we had a really good. Well, first off, grateful for JP Morgan Chase and in this conference. We're almost half an hour left. I really recommend if you're available, we're gonna have a stand-up comedy session. Jarrell Beeman, he is from Dayton, Ohio, and has really already traveled all over. Dave Chappelle is doing amazing stuff out in that area to really kind of help comedians, and Jarrell's one of them. But yeah, I'm really excited for the chaos of the end of the this year. It was a pretty chaotic year. However you want to slice and dice it. So I'm looking forward to just a foundation and an alignment of where we're going next year. So what about you, Max?
Yeah, totally. And I just posted my information in the chat for any of y'all that are trying to connect afterwards. I would say I think for me right now, one of the things that I'm most excited about going into 2025 would be the way in which I'm starting out coordinate all these awesome partnerships with a lot of awesome companies that are seeing the value in the work that I've been doing the last 4 years, specifically in the education technology space. It's really, really beautiful to see some big time publicly traded, corporate technology style companies wanting to try and align themselves with the work that I'm doing and, go from impacting hundreds of students to impacting thousands of students, maybe tens of thousands of students, and creating those bridges between, boots on the ground work that I might be doing and others, partners of mine that are doing in their respective geographies, and being able to coordinate that with different companies that are in the tech world and see that need to be creating either a tech talent pipeline or a proficient workforce or a young emerging workforce that's going to be prepared, for those types of 21st century careers on the horizon. And being kind of just in the thick of that feels really awesome. So I'm pumped for it and invite many, many more of it.
Love it. Love it. What about you, Anthony?
I'm really, on a personal level, I'm really excited to kind of build bridges with my culture. I lived in Colombia for 10 years and continue to build those bridges between entrepreneurs here and Colombia next year. That's going to be great. I'm working on a lot of projects to do that. And Anarco is one of those projects. On a macro level, I'm really excited about the zeitgeist that's happening in the United States right now. I think there's an opportunity for small businesses to really start to become more competitive. AI agents being launched on behalf of small businesses make them more competitive, I would even say, with big corporate companies. And I think right now we're going through a zeitgeist where there's a strong sentiment of anti-corporatization and small businesses, and building a small business will be a subversive act. That's why the company is called Anarco, because it is the prefix of anarchism. And the idea is, how do we build more small businesses from an individual standpoint and to be able to compete, but also to serve our communities a lot better. I think that's the zeitgeist that's coming, and I'm excited for it.
Love it. Love it. And last but not least, what about you, Mariah?
I don't know how I'm gonna follow up with that, Anthony. Okay. I guess what I can say first and foremost is I'm excited to see these connections flourish and thrive. We're planting seeds and we're a part of history. So I want to keep it simple. There are probably at least 10 or 12 projects that I'm actively working on internationally. I'm actually going to be headed, I have a flight in 45 minutes, but it's not going to make it. So that was rescheduled because I can't miss Manny's event. And I'm going to be in DC for the Women of Color blockchain delegation. We're going to be on Capitol Hill and doing some advocacy work. Like I said, I'm really heavy in blockchain and crypto, but from a point of legislation, we want to make things move and actually get it definitive. So I'm excited, like I said, to see these connections flourish, to see the information grow, to see it be applied, and to watch what the fruits of our labor actually look and taste like and feel like.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, looking forward to 2025 and super excited. And thank you again, Max, Anthony, and Mariah for joining us today.